don't know who the third would be, honestly.
My bad.
But I do know Shea. I mean, I don't know how you're going to take it away from Shea this year. He's been absolutely balling.
Shay's been. I mean, I think it was Shea, Luka, and was it Jokic? No, it was Embiid.
It was Embiid and Jokic, but Embiid got hurt, so that's another thing to talk about, honestly. But.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the injuries for sure and that new rule. So, yeah. I like I like the All-Star. I think two things that I would change. Let me slow down. One would be. I like Shea as the starter. I like the West starters, I would say. East Coast, I do think you could make an argument that Brunson should start over, what is it, Halliburton and Dame? Is those the two guys?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
might be Dame, and Dame is that's my favorite player present day right now. And so that's how, I mean, Brunson has just brought New York back to relevance, and they're winning, and he's playing exceptional. So it's hard for me to not see him as a starter, but I'm really happy he made it.
I'm happy the Knicks are back, bro.
Same.
Not a big Knicks fan. I'm a Heat fan, but seeing the Knicks actually relevant and good again,
it feels right.
Good for the league.
Yeah, it feels right because it's been so long too that they have been out of competitiveness. Yeah. So shout out to the Knicks. Interesting stuff with the Knicks though, because they made a lot of moves and it hasn't really panned out so far. But I'd say the second move, there was one other it's on the East. I like the West Coast. I don't think anybody go, oh, you know what? No. The other one is either Sabonis, who I think I would put Sabonis in the All-Star game maybe over Fox. I don't see how you take Curry or SGA out, right? No. And you can't take Luka out. So it's tough to put Fox in. But Sabonis 1,000% should have made. Did Cat make it? Cat made the All-Star game, right?
Cat made it.
Yeah, no. I'm going Sabonis. Sabonis almost averages a triple-double, I believe.
Yeah, he
From
does.
Center? He's a power forward center? I mean, come on.
I mean, if it wasn't for Jokic, Sabonis would definitely be looked at as that guy in that Jokic echelon. But, Joker's crazy. He's nuts.
He's a big dog. You know what I mean? He's doing his own. He's got his own lane. You know what I mean? Center doing. Sure. But I mean, I think Sabonis got robbed, and I think Brunson should have been a starter. Other than that, I don't think there's too many robberies. I feel like, and then like I said, there's an argument for De'Aaron Fox, but I just think his peers are not substantially, but they really, really are dominant. So it's hard to make an argument for him. But I like the All-Star. Now, I mean, I'll say in terms of the All-Star festivities, we could just stay on track with that. We just had a conversation pre-production. I don't really love the All-Star game as an event lately. I know next year is in the Bay though, so that might be very fun. I may actually fuck with that. That may be very lit, but Indianapolis is already a weird market to go to, and then the dunk contest has no real adrenaline behind it. 3-point contest is really what I look forward to. Skills challenges, whatever. They got to figure out a way to make it a little more engaging.
They do. I think that it's also come with the whole social media era. I think that we were just talking about pre-recording that I think that everyone's just all about fashion and all about showing out for the weekend, and nobody wants to do any performances. You see the dunk contest. I mean, I don't remember. Probably Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine was it last time?
That was the last one. That
was even relevant. The 3-point contest that's the highlight of the weekend now.
It's the highlight.
I don't even know why the dunk contest is last at this point.
So like I was saying, do you think that the only solution would you suggest removing it and adding something different, or do you think we just need better participants?
I think we need better participants. Yeah. I mean, just imagining All-Star Weekend without the slam dunk contest, it's abysmal. That doesn't even seem right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what everybody used to look forward to. I mean, when we were younger, you had the Vince Carters.
Yeah.
Kobe did it. I mean, it was just Gerald Green. Like, it was nuts when we were younger, bro. And you didn't even have to be an upper echelon player.
You didn't. You didn't. That's the thing. It's not. I even went as far to say some of these YouTube dunkers. I don't know if you've seen. They might need to start outsourcing and grabbing people who really just want to put on a show.
Like Kilgannon.
They had that show on TNT. He might have been on.
Oh yeah. He won it. Yeah.
Yes, they need to go get those guys, and they need to give them some bread to go put on a fucking show, because I don't. what are we really promoting at this point? Like the dudes that are doing it don't seem to want it. Like I think you had mentioned Jaylen Brown had said something post dunk contest. You know, guys might be afraid of criticism. It's like, bro, if we get the NBA guys, we want to see the Ja Morants. We want to see maybe Zion. You know what I mean? We need to see dudes who are really flying out there. And like you, to be honest though, we don't even need big names. But I would like to see a Ja Morant.
I want to see the big names. Yeah. I mean the anybody who will participate and give 100% will show the creativity. They're more than welcomed.
Yes.
But we do need some of the big name young NBA stars. People. But everybody has an image to protect. Nobody wants to take that L. Nobody wants to be embarrassed, basically. Because you got somebody like Zion. He comes in with all the hype. He has all this bounce. And if he comes out and lays an egg, he's going to become a meme. I mean, not that he's already a meme already. He has nothing to lose.
And that's my thing with it. I'm like, you niggas are already memes to a lot of people. So it's kind of frustrating that, you know. Salute to Jaylen Brown, by the way. I wasn't impressed by his dunks, but salute to him for actually doing it. Yeah. I wouldn't consider him maybe like your tier 1 star of the league, but he's like a strong tier 2 guy. So we haven't really seen names in the dunk contest in years. So salute to Jaylen Brown, man. For sure. Do you think, so segueing in, you know, keeping it on NBA though, do you think like Adam Silver is a little too soft when it comes to, you know, player inclusivity and making it just kind of like the league is player friendly, you know, opposed to the NFL? So do you think Adam Silver is too soft, or do you think that's needed so that we can have, you know? I
think initially it was needed. Yeah. Just to give the players some power, but now, I mean, the players run the league. I mean, we can't.
It's gotten out of control.
We can't even lie about that.
It's gotten out of control.
I think there should be a middle ground between somewhere like the NFL where the players literally have zero power, unless you're a quarterback, maybe.
Yeah.
And then somewhere like the NBA where you can literally choose where you get traded to. You can choose the contract you get. You can hold out, no consequences. So I think that
like a Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that there has to be a middle ground. There has to be a foundation on it.
They 1000% have let this get out of control. I think the intention was there. It was good faith, good intention, but the execution of this is falling flat, right? Like you said, you can hold out and not miss any pay. Like you can I mean, they had to literally implement the 65 game rule just so people were incentivized to not load manage. So I mean, it's getting out of control, but I mean, I want to say I like the inclusivity of it all, and I do like a player friendly leader of like a commissioner, because like you on the NFL side, it's like the complete contrary to this. It's not that at all. Like the players are pretty much, you know, I mean, they don't have really any stake in in decisions. So I do feel like we do need an Adam Silver as much as we need maybe a Goodell type of situation where I'm on the owner side before I'm on the player side. The players union of the NBA is dope to me though. And I like that because that's supposed to be the middle ground. But I think once the players union, you know, they came to the collective bargaining agreement and did all of these things to get players compensated fairly. Now we're just seeing niggas just they're getting lazy. What are you incentivized to do? Like, and I do this kind of goes into another question of like the competition that we see. Yeah. I heard Ish actually on Joe's podcast say, you know, the league isn't competitive anymore. It's just a lot of guys are skillful. And I'm like, you know, I totally agree with that. Like there's a lot of skillful guys who can shoot threes, contest it, off the dribble, dunk, you know what I mean? They're specialists, but the competition is horrible. We're seeing almost 200-point games. I mean,
50 point quarters. It's crazy.
Oh shit! Not to mention the quarter shit. I be doing over unders. These niggas be hitting over 80 points. That's not an uncommon thing. Like both teams total over 80 points, bro. That isn't. Teams used to score 80. The Detroit Pistons used to score maybe 80, hold team to 60. You know what I mean? Yeah. This shit is crazy. So like, I'm wondering is that due to the are niggas not competitive because they're too friendly, or like what's going on? Are they lazy? Like what's going on?
It's lazy. I mean, everybody wants to play offense. Nobody wants to play defense. I mean, that's why defense is so highly coveted. So the very few that do play defense, I mean, hats off to them. But I mean, that's why we have like don't know how many 30-point scorers we have right now. It's
like averaging
crazy.
30. Yeah. I think
it's insane.
It's not 10, but it's a lot.
Bro, averaging 30 was rare.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about back in the day or whatever. Like even a couple of years ago.
Even with James Harden was doing that shit. Yeah.
There was only one or two players.
Two, maybe three. Yeah, it was really like two people for real. You really had one dude 30 and then the other guys like, 25 plus. Yeah. But you're not getting averaging 30, bro. That shit is crazy. And I think it's like when I watch the games, I'm not seeing guys like not play defense. But it's weird. Like there's moments where they're not. It's not the whole game, right? And it's like I will say I would like to give credit to the offense and how much they've gotten more efficient. Like guys score quicker. They're seeming to miss less shots. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate they're taking a lot more shots. Yeah. So that's the difference. I want to say back in the offense was a lot slower paced, taking less shots, moving the ball around, a lot of picks. And we're waiting for the best shot. Now you'll see somebody take a very, very wild shot, and it'll be like, well, I mean, he can sometimes make that. I see Tyler Hero take crazy shots constantly. He does make them, but I mean, they're not good shots to me. But so it's interesting because I was wondering, like, is it the offense has gotten that good, or has the defense just become that lazy?
I think it's a combination of both. I think that the league shoots the best it's ever been. Everybody shoots threes, with the exception of some players, but for the most part, everybody's offense has stepped up. Everybody can score. A lot of people are bucket getters, and on the same hand, those are the same people are conserving all their energy on offense, not trying to use any of their energy on defense.
Right.
So
it's
a combination of both, man.
That's the thing. Like I will say, the two-way player is kind of non-existent these days. Yeah. I mean, he may not be non-existent, but he's not your star player. Like, if you think about it, the star player, for the most part, is, I won't say one-dimensional, but heavily offensive, I think Embiid, I do like his defense. I've heard people say he's lazy. I feel like for as big as he is, I like his effort. He could be a lot fucking lazier. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no. When he actually tries,
Embiid is, he's dominant as fuck, exactly. I think he has moments where, like you said, he may not, it doesn't look like he's really trying. I don't know if that's just, he's tired, he doesn't give a fuck or whatever, but we definitely see a lot of ISO ball. Like, I think now if you could get because I heard some older players talking about this. They were like, how do you think you would have fared in this like new environment? And it might have been Jamal Crawford or somebody like that. And I'm like, that this is the type of game though. Yeah. And he was in a time where it was like, that's why him and Lou Will were so unique, because they're coming off the bench just fucking you up, ISOing the fuck out of you and just giving you 20 to 30 off the bench. Yep. So I think they would have fared really well in this league for sure.
Hell yeah, they would have.
So what young talent right now in the league are you surprised by? Like, anyone has kind of got you, like maybe like a Desmond Bain or a
for sure. I think Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams.
He is a bucket getter, and honestly, I did not know he had that bag on him. But ever since,
he's nice.
I think like a month or two ago, he's been balling.
Bro, he's fucking nice. Jalen Williams, honestly, both of them are really good.
The whole team.
I really like their team, bro. I love their squad. You know who's actually surprising to me? Malik Monk, even though he's been in the league for a little bit, right? Malik Monk is still being he's pretty effective out there in Sacramento. You want some?
Yeah.
Out there in Sacramento, he's pretty effective. And so I respect that he's being utilized correctly, because in Charlotte, you got a lot of niggas who just out there just kind of, you're just going through the motions. You're not really, there's no system, there's none of that. So I won't say, I'm surprised by Malik Young actually being effective in an offense. I like him. I like Denny too. Denny had a 40 ball the other night, and he was looking, and I told you this not too long ago. I've liked his evolution. Like, he's got, in a fucked up organization like the Wizards, he's gotten better every year.
He has that grit in him, and he did prove me wrong, because I thought he was soft as hell coming into the league. But he has that grit in him, and I'm pissed at the Wizards because they kept Kuzma. and I think they should just be hard resetting that system.
Mm.
But Kuzma's saying he wants to build something, blah, blah, blah. He's bullshitting. So he just wants to be the number one option. And
I think he might not want that type of spotlight on him. I think he don't. After coming from the Lakers to coming to D, I don't think he wants to go to another team and have that pressure. Mm-hmm. Some guys just don't want that pressure because it's a lot to deal with, and that's why when you got to take your hats off to the top guys because they're looked at. A LeBron is looked at to perform every night, and if he doesn't, therefore, similar to AD, right? Like I think he would be. To me, I think AD would thrive better in a less pressurized environment. Yeah. So I think Kuzma is just like, look, I got my $90 million from these niggas. This team is ass. I can coast here. If he really believes in a rebuild, sure. But to your point, I would much rather give the bread to Denny if he earns it after this year and start from scratch.
Start from scratch with Denny and
get some
the
picks.
Rookie. Oh, dude, Benedict.
I actually like not Benedict. That's the dude on the Pacers who the Wizards could have. I think they could have got him.
It was actually funny. He got into a little thing with
I saw that with
Jalen Ivey.
Oh, Jaden Ivey, yes. Was that serious or were they joking?
I think he was dead ass because Jaden Ivey looked salty as hell when he actually heard what he said.
What did he was just like you can't guard me even in this.
Yeah, even in this you can't guard me.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Benedict Mathurin is nice.
He's hard.
He's also actually on this list of who I'm surprised by.
Yeah,
not really surprised because I liked him in college, but he fell in the draft if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden, I feel like we're missing a couple. I like Bane. I'm gonna throw Bane back out there. I was just using him as a point of reference, but I am surprised by him. I didn't even know of Bane until he started hooping.
I mean, you could throw that whole OKC roster in there.
Reeves, I'd say I'm surprised by Reeves based on like he's kind of inconsistent, but I'm surprised by him.
Mm-hmm.
Jaime Jaquez, I'm gonna put him on there too.
Man, that's my guy.
He's tough.
That's my guy.
The Heat always draft good character people though, so I wasn't really surprised by him being good. But it hasn't taken him long. Like he's getting right to it.
He just has a very polished game. He's a very mature player at 21 or 22, however old he is as a rookie.
He does play
very polished. Like he honestly reminds you of a Jimmy Butler 2.0. I mean, without the defense, it's intensity.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's no real weakness in his game other than maturity, I guess. Right. That'll come with experience, but
right. Yeah, no.
At 3 levels, good.
I like him. And I think just to correct the name, old boy in the Wizards is what's his name? Not Benedict, the dude from France. Bilal Koulibaly. Yes, he. I like him though. Actually, I do like. He actually is a two-way guy to me. Like when I watch him, he's taking on the challenge of guarding the best players and all that. So I like what he's on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So transitioning on the contrary to who we're surprised by. Who are you like disappointed by? And I've got a couple people listed for this one. So I've got Jordan Poole, and this is just young talent. RJ Barrett, and these are questions. I'm not saying I feel this way. I just want to know Zion and then Jalen Green.
I know we like to bash on Jordan Poole,
because
he's played like absolute ass this year, and he played like ass in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he wasn't good with the Warriors at the end either.
Even with how bad he's playing, I still think that he's exceeded expectations just because I believe he was undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a second-round pick coming out of Michigan.
Mm-hmm. I think it was second round.
He fought his way from the G League.
From the G League, yes.
So he's already exceeded expectations. I mean, he's not living up to the contract.
Correct. That's a difference.
He should probably be back in the G League right now. But that's not my answer. My answer is for sure Zion.
Okay, Zion.
Because
you could have multiple answers, by the way. You could have multiple people.
I mean,
Zion, yes.
You could put RJ in it just because, I don't know. I think he's doing what I thought he would do.
He's not disappointing to me because he's kind of doing what I thought. He's not bad.
Yeah.
He's not a difference maker.
Yeah, but I would definitely say Zion. He came in the league expected to be the chosen one.
Ben Simmons as well. I didn't put him on here. Facts. Ben Simmons is despicable to me. I actually don't even like associating him with pro basketball players. I just think he's in a whole nother fucking category. But Zion, I mean, Jordan, let me go back to your Jordan Poole point because I like it. Jordan Poole agreed that based on where he was drafted and his trajectory and what he had to do to even get to the NBA roster, he is exceeding expectation. He's not exceeding the expectation of the contract, which are two totally different things. But now that you have the contract, we have to hold you to this expectation, unfortunately. True. So it's hard to look at him as a $173 million guy because he's not that.
He's not that. I mean, we went to that game. We went to the Wizards-Timberwolves game last month, I believe.
Yes.
He was just going through the motions,
bro. He didn't look.
I've never seen a player like, and it's because he has zero confidence in himself now.
Is it that, or does he not give a fuck about the sport? I genuinely don't know if he cares about basketball anymore.
I think it's synonymous. I think the confidence, like his confidence, just is done. And once that's gone, he doesn't give a fuck about basketball. He got his money. So.
And that's what I think. And that's what I think about Ben too. Like they're kind of those two niggas. Unfortunately, even though Ben is a whole different. You're a number one overall pick, so it's a whole different combo. He and Jordan Poole. When I watch them play, they don't look like they want to be out there anymore. And I, as a coach or as an organization, I wonder how long do you let it ride before you say this has to stop. So, you know, because it makes me question, like, are you really serious as an organization? You know? So, yeah, Jordan Poole, I want to touch on Jalen Green, actually. I am disappointed by Jalen Green, but I actually kind of expected this. I don't love what I see from him. Like, when I watch or when I look at his stats, he's very streaky. Like, I think he definitely, like, he killed some nigga the other day. That was fucking crazy. I saw that. But I think when you look at his shooting efficiency, it's very wishy-washy, very streaky. And I don't know. I think Sengun is taking over as the cornerstone piece of that. He's nice, by the way. He's actually
extremely nice.
One of the young talents I'm surprised by.
Yeah.
Sengun is really fucking good. So Jalen Green, you know, because you got drafted to be that, it's interesting. I'm curious to see what his next deal would be like. I mean, he averages, I think, 17, which isn't it's not horrible, but on a Houston Rockets team, I feel like I should see you taking a step. Haven't seen him take a leap, so that's why I put him on there.
Yeah.
Anybody else for you that you think is kind of shit in the bed?
Shit in the bed.
I mean, we may have touched most of them, like high level, most of them. But when I say shit in the bed, not just the guys who suck, right? More so the guys who were drafted with expectation to be good at, i.e. Ben, Zion, to me, Jalen Green.
Oh, to your point, I actually want to give love to Paolo Banchero because
nice.
I mean, he had his first televised game of his career last week before All-Star game when they played.
Really?
Who'd they play? They played somebody.
Damn.
That was the first time he was on national television. Like the NBA has done.
They didn't put the Magic on there?
No, not on national. They just did it for the first time last week. The
NBA
NBA has done a catastrophic job with his promotion in the league. Like
right.
And like promoting him as the number one draft pick. I've never seen somebody just forgotten about.
True. He is but do you put that on the NBA or is it the market? Because not for nothing, SGA kind of had to come in and be like, give me that shit. You know what I mean? Like
SGA was in the first round. I mean, pick one though.
That's true. That's true. I thought you were referring to just future star. You're talking about number one guys who are performing.
There's no promoting him.
Right.
I mean,
again, you hear more about
he
Wemby.
Doesn't have a super exciting game.
No.
He's like a huge DeRozan type play style, but
He's got a nice game. He's nice though. He is. He's nice.
And all of them. Franz Wagner's another one that's surprising, by the way.
He's nice. I like him. His game. He plays like a nigga. Like he don't give a fuck out there. I like him. He's got. Where are they from? Where are the Wagners from? Do you know?
Germany.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, Michigan. I hate Michigan. I'm a Michigan State alum. Just so y'all know.
Right.
I cannot fucking stand Michigan. But they find their players, man. They go international and find their players.
That's respectable. You got to take your hat off to good recruiting.
Hell yeah.
Because niggas don't be recruiting like that. Let's go back to Paolo because that's a very good point you bring up. Paolo, he is a number one. But hear me out here. Wemby got drafted the year after him as number one, right? Mm-hmm. you saw the focus of Wemby before when he was just playing in the fucking. It wasn't even the G League, was it? He was just playing. He was playing against G League teams, I think, but he wasn't in the G League. They put all this focus on him from day one, so that might have taken a little bit away from Paolo's, and the fact that he's in a small market. Orlando, I mean, shit. Even when they had Penny and Shaq, I mean, I don't really remember it being. I mean, you knew about him, but they don't really ever get that look. You know what I mean?
Maybe Dwight. Well, Dwight they got.
I think Dwight, we'll give him that. And even I'm gonna even say even with Dwight, I mean, it was like they had him and Hito Turkoglu, right? And you know they had Jameer Nelson. They had a nice little squad, but I don't know, something about these markets, those small market teams. I would be fearful of even going to as a number one overall pick. Like, to your point, when you had mentioned to me that SGA actually. I mean, I knew he wasn't a number one overall pick, but his stardom has brought in, and that whole team is balling. OKC is a small market, but when you talk about that type of star power, it's hard to avoid it. I think with Orlando, I'm trying to think of some other smaller markets that are like, I mean, not for nothing. If you think about it, Milwaukee is a small ass market.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, and that's why they do everything to keep Giannis, because they know this. They know they go back to irrelevance without him. You know what I mean? I think Shaq and Penny, and then you have the Dwight era, but the Shaq and Penny shit wasn't long. I think it was like 3, maybe 4 years. And then Dwight was there for a very long time. It just didn't amount to anything. Well, did they went to one championship?
They went to the finals, got swept by Kobe though. So.
That's why, like, the Magic are like, it's like you almost don't buy into their brand. You know, it's unserious. But I like what Paolo's doing to conclude this. I like what Paolo's doing, and I would agree. But I do think Wemby's promotion kind of just over it. He's like the nigga you don't want to have to be right before. You know, in terms of getting drafted or anything like that, because he's gonna. And Wemby, by the way, I mean he's tough.
It was crazy. I still punch myself because it was the easiest future bet in the world to bet on Wemby leading the league in blocks. I didn't do it, but
really,
I think it was plus 300 or 400, and that's an easy come up. I mean, it was just
he leads the league in blocks at what a game?
I think it's like 3.5.
He had a triple double with blocks the other game.
He needed like a couple more steals too.
To what?
For quadruple. And I don't even know how many assists he had. So.
Hey, yo, I'm not gonna lie. I really let me touch on this because I don't think I have any topics on it specifically. I like that I'm not seeing the fragileness in him, even though he's like 7'3", 7'4", and I'm not seeing him out consistently. He looks, every time I see him play, it's like he's hungry. I like that shit, and this is a bit of off the agenda. The fact that I'm seeing these foreigners come, Luka be over here looking at these niggas like fucking dog food. Like, you niggas ain't fucking with me ever. Like, and I'm not missing no games either, nigga. I play every game and I bust ass every fucking day. Jokic, get the fuck out my way. He be moving niggas like they don't even exist. I be seeing Jokic get so physical, and it makes me happy because we don't see bigs get physical no more. And now, so it's very interesting to me. I mean, I love the Jokic Embiid battle when they do play. I know Embiid has missed every Denver game for like the last 5-6 years.
That shit's crazy.
I don't know if he's ducking Jokic or if he's ducking Denver, like playing in Denver. I don't know. I don't think he's ducking Jokic though, because he dogged him.
No, he's not ducking Jokic. Yeah. I think I'd honestly give him a legitimate excuse this year because a couple games later he did
he played and
fucked
his shit up. Yeah,
I think in general, for some reason he does avoid playing in Denver. I don't know what it is.
You think it's that altitude shit, or
it might be the altitude, and his knee acts funny.
I'm not gonna lie. I always think about that because I have asthma, so I be thinking about when these niggas get drafted to these teams, and I know they go through physical, so they know. I don't know how you can play in them conditions and have any type of respiratory, issue going on. That shit is crazy. That I will never understand. Like when I was playing when we were young, and I always used to wonder why I was so tired. And I didn't realize that the asthma was contributing to all that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't have it to the point where I needed an inhaler all the time. But the fact that, because you can grow out of it, and I grew out of it, but it still made me very tired. Like, well, whatever and of course Derek is a fucking nurse, so he has all the the fucking technical answers about it. For me, when I was a kid, I'm thinking, I grew out of it, I don't need my inhaler, why am I still tired? Like I always just thought, oh damn, I must be eating bad. These other kids, we're fucking in high school, bro, or middle school, we all eating bullshit. I was like, no way these niggas are eating better than me, and we all go to the same cafeteria and eat the same shit every day. So that asthma shit is crazy. But that was a bit of a side note. I brought that up to say, if any of that is going on with niggas who want to go play in Denver and shit like that, I'd be ducking the smoke too. I'm not about to be out there being gassed and this nigga Jokic just coming down here like he's just giving me work, and I'm like, oh man, this shit is, I'm tired, coach. Like, I mean, you can't look like that. No. I would respect niggas more if they don't want to play in those environments than if they don't want to go to the dunk contest. Facts. I would take that. You know what I mean? And so it be pissing me off, but we kind of got off the agenda. But I did want to touch on all of that because that Paolo convo was very very good. I didn't even bring, and to be honest, he's so under the radar. I didn't have him on the surprise by or disappointed. But the thing is, I'm not surprised by him because I see he's tough.
He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, he's fucking tough.
Just don't get the coverage.
And he's not disappointing. So
shout out to international players, by the way.
Shout out. That's where we went. Yeah, shout out to the international. Giannis, Jokic,
they hooping. They don't give a fuck about their image. They're not into social media. They're not into their fashion.
They don't.
They hooping, bro.
That's where we were at. Thank you for bringing that back. To conclude, you American niggas disappoint the fuck out of me. At that, even Shea is a Canadian, by the way.
International, yeah.
So again, we can, and when we look at the top dudes in the league, we may have, if we take taking Bron and Curry out of it only because they're at the end of their career.
Yeah.
Although Curry, I mean, he's 4. And I mean, I don't know how much longer he can keep going, but he's still hooping at a high level. So is Bron. But my point is, I want to remove them. Let's just talk about the younger guy. I've got Ant Edwards and Jason Tatum as tier 1 guys. And when I stop there, I may be as American tier 1 guys. After that, am I missing someone? I could be missing some. Maybe
you could be missing maybe 1 or 2.
1 or 2 guys, but that's 4. We can list. We can go down. We can do 5 superstars of foreigners dogging shit, just straight. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So I just think it's hard for the fact that we only got 2, and Ant is still I put him in tier 1, but he's still like, you know what I mean? He's still catching stride. I don't know if he's. I know to put Jason Tatum there without any debate. Mm-hmm. And I can understand why someone might argue me, but I think he's there personally.
Yeah,
especially with Timberwolves being 1. That's
yeah.
But I could understand if you don't want to put him there. So that would mean we may only have 1, maybe 2, because I might be missing somebody. I'm just going off the top of my head.
I would put Ant in that category personally. But again, like you said, I could see the arguments with him because he's not on the disappointing list at all to me.
No.
But I thought that he would make a bigger step this year. Like, I thought he was going to be that 30-point-a-game player. Again, Minnesota's 1 in the West, I think.
Yeah, they're 1.
It doesn't matter. It don't matter. But I do think next year he probably does progress into close to 30-point-a-game.
So you know what? This is perfect. So, this is the best segue we've had so far in this sports segment. New face of the league. 26 and under is the criteria I've got. Right?
How old's Luka?
I looked him up. He's on the list. He's 25, I believe, or he is 26. He's either 25 or he is 26. So he makes this because I changed it. At first, I had 25 and under, but one of these niggas is 26. Mm-hmm. So I got SGA, Fox, Halliburton. Halliburton is tough. Halliburton's approaching that tier 1, by the way. He's not there yet for me, but he's nice as fuck. Luka and Ant. So I had those 5 guys. I looked up their age. They're all under 26 or under. So who do you think is the new face of the league? And it don't have to be anybody I put on there. I mean, you could throw Wemby, you know.
Yeah, I think as a brand, I think Ant has a lot of potential. He has the charisma,
personality,
for that shit.
Yeah.
Realistically, I do think it's probably between Luka, Ja Morant. Ja Morant has unlimited potential. If he just keep out of trouble for one,
damn,
if he can stay,
damn, I didn't put him on there.
Yeah, if he can just stay out of trouble, which I think he can. I think all that shit's past him. He just needs to get healthy.
Yeah, that you need to focus up and get healthy. Seriously,
I think that Ja has
that's on me. Ja is ridiculous. Yeah. By the way, even when he came back for that short minute, I mean, Memphis had motion.
Facts.
Not only did they have motion, he fucking hit a game winner. I think the first game he came back.
Yeah.
So Ja has some type of infectious energy that seems to like corral his team, and I agree, he is super marketable. I really wish he could adopt, maybe, again, this goes for all my American superstars in the NBA. Take on that foreign mentality, man, and fuck that designer shit. That's why I like Tatum a lot. Tatum, to me, even though I do see him, like, he might, throw on some fashion or some shit like that, he be low key, he be chilling. I'm about buckets. I'm not into all the Instagram whores. I'm working. And I'm trying to get a fucking championship.
Just about buckets and the sun.
Like, and it's that is very beautiful to me. I love any nigga standing on business as a father. That's and showcasing it, right? Instead of showcasing the other shit of, oh, I'm fucking off on some Zion shit. That's why he don't even be in these. I don't even have Zion in this conversation.
Hell no.
Because he's not. I didn't put Ja on here, but that makes 6 people that I put before him. So I can see. The reason, so you go Ja, and I could potentially go SGA or Luka, and here's why. Because I think they're trying to market the NBA internationally and expand. Yeah. They're also trying to compete with the NFL, who's also trying to expand. So it's all starting to become more bigger business now with these two companies. So I wouldn't be surprised, and they're doing a lot with SGA. Not for nothing. SGA modeling with the skims and shit. And this is the thing. I don't hate that because that nigga be hooping.
Yeah, no. SGA, don't get me wrong. SGA is an exception to all that.
He's an exception to the rule
because he actually be doing that shit. Like, you could.
He's always been doing that. By the way,
he does that shit himself. He doesn't have. I mean, he probably has people on his team that kind of helps him with the fashion shit. But you could tell he has a mind for that shit.
It's
he doesn't
organic.
have like other people giving him shit to wear, and then he's just fake posing.
It's organic,
shit.
Exactly.
He's about that shit. He's one of the like original ones that is like truly into that fashion shit. So
yeah, I like SGA's. I like how organic his shit is. So I'm and I agree. I don't feel like any of his shit is like ambassador vibe. I mean, with the skim shit, clearly it's a partnership or whatever, or it's a brand deal. But he prior to was always putting on shit, and I was like, damn, that shit kind of fly, honestly. So he be doing his thing, but he be hooping, so it don't matter. You other niggas be Kuzmas of the worlds, and all you niggas be wearing weird shit, and you're not winning, and you're not really producing. You know what I mean? So, and no disrespect, because Kuzma, not for nothing, in DC hasn't been a complete letdown. I will say he hasn't been complete bullshit, but I'm using you as a point of reference because you be putting on bullshit, and that shit don't look fly. And hey, whatever it is to you, as long as you feel good in it, keep going. But I fuck with SGA, and I think they might market him and Luka as well, because and I can see and Ja for sure. I mean, Ja, to me, I would say prior to the bullshit and now the injury. So we're seeing some setbacks, unfortunately. Yeah. What is he, 20?
He has to be like 23 or 24, I would say.
I'll say 23, 24, so he'll be 25 when he gets back. Is a torn labrum? Okay, well, since you're the medical point of contact in these situations, is the torn labrum is that serious?
It is, but I think it's something you could definitely come back and bounce back from. I do think the worst injury is by far the Achilles or any groin or hamstring injury back. Because those are something that's lingering and will go throughout your career, and then
that's what I heard somebody say. The back is the back. KG said the back because when Ben was going through his back injuries, KG was saying that the back is the easiest injury to re-aggravate and say that you have, because it's sometimes harder for them to identify what it is. Okay. So the players will be like, oh, my back hurts, when it's really, he was basically saying a lot of players be bullshitting with back injuries. Mm-hmm. i.e. a bend. Like you don't know what fucking hurts. You just like, it feels like it's my back. Now I've heard the groin is very hard to come back from as well, and that makes sense to me because your explosiveness and especially when we get into football, we can get into that, but I feel like that hinders you because when you got a fucked up groin, you can't do much, right?
Yeah.
The Achilles. Shout out to Kevin Durant. Wow. And then we've seen people come back from it, so it's not like it's impossible.
Yeah, Kevin Durant. Shout out Cam Akers. He came back in like 8 months.
See, so is that a mind thing when it comes to injuries and stuff, right?
It is.
Like, is it more mental, mind over matter, right? Like, yes, the injury's fucking bad, but if you allow it to get to you mentally.
100%. I think injuries are really like 50% actual recovery and another 50% is your mentality. Because I'm not gonna lie, like when you do get injured and go on the court again for the first time,
right,
you are hesitant because you're like, if I fuck this shit up again,
right,
I'm not trying to re-aggravate. It's hard to get out of your own head, so that's why they say it takes a year after recovery to actually recover from the injury, because it's not just physically recovering from the injury, it's the mentality of recovering from energy. So you got someone like Clay.
I was just about to segue into that.
I'm not even sure if he's fully out of his head with it. So
and now when you start, now it may be getting worse because you're starting to see shit not go for you in the right way.
Yeah.
So now you starting to think like, damn, am I not like back to like my full self? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if, with Clay, because I was gonna bring him up just because we were talking about the injuries and stuff. I don't personally know if he's washed up. I just think after 2 major injuries like that, do you ever really get back to your full self, or is that a case by case situation?
I think it's case by case.
Right.
I think it's also towards the end of the Warriors dynasty. So a lot of everybody's getting old. Draymond's not as effective as he once was. Curry's the only one still going strong.
Do you think Draymond is the same player if he gets drafted by any team? Take any team, fucking the Hawks. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he's not. And that's hard to say because that's hard to admit because I love Draymond.
I fuck with him.
Michigan State brother.
I fuck with him.
But no, he's not.
But I don't think you get that out of him in another. I really don't. It's almost like in football, which we're about to go to, because that was our last NBA topic.
Yeah.
If you take certain people out of systems in football specifically, you see them usually not work. J.C. Jackson was the corner for the Patriots. Got a big deal from the Chargers, went to the Chargers, and they cut him before the second year of his deal was up. A lot of people are they're beneficiaries of the system. It's not a knock on you, but if you know how to fucking play in zone more than you do in man, and now this system is a zone, it's going to highlight you in a different way. So with a Draymond, I love the way they utilize him. I don't think most organizations utilize him that way.
No.
Nor do I know they have a Curry who can. You could take Trae Young, who would probably be the closest thing to our Curry, which even if you use Draymond with the Hawks and you put him there, I don't see it being this. I don't see the results yielding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he did benefit hugely being in that Warrior system. I think Curry and all the Warriors benefited from him being in that system too. Personally, I don't think the Warriors are as successful as they are without Draymond.
I agree.
He did all the dirty work. He is the modern day Dennis Rodman. I'm not saying he was as good as Dennis Rodman because Rodman was absolutely insane. But what I will say is that he did all the dirty work.
I agree.
And you saw when he got suspended in that Cleveland series, that whole shit shifted.
When he got suspended in that series, that's when they lost to Kyrie and Bron?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. He got suspended for what, a game?
He got suspended for a game, yeah. And then he got ejected that game. So basically like 1.5 games.
1.5 games.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Draymond is interesting. Like I really do. I agree with everything you said. I want to argue, but I agree. I don't see that. I don't see the Warriors being as. You don't have many guys, and that's another thing in the NBA. You don't have many guys who play roles anymore.
Yeah.
Which is why even in the NFL, you got a lot of guys that are me. So I don't want to just block, or I don't want to just be the guy who sets picks and maybe rebounds and starts the fast break. I want to be the guy who's shooting threes, contested, feeling gratification because I'm making crazy fucking shots. And that's why a lot of these teams are so regular season fucking teams, and when you get to the playoff, that's why the Heat are able to kind of always advance. I wish they could get over the fucking hump, but
Jimmy needs a ring, man.
Yeah, but everyone plays their role there though, which is why they're able to consistently win. Most of these teams don't have guys who play the role. You got one or two guys, and everybody else is just filler.
And that's a message to y'all, honestly, to all y'all players. If y'all knew your role and played it, guarantee you would get paid more.
You'd get paid more.
You'd be in the league longer, and your teams would be more successful. And before we branch off to the NFL, I also want to say, like the face of the league thing. I think D Book should be in that conversation also.
Is he under 26?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know if he is.
Well, even if he's not, he might be like 27.
But
you know what I mean? He might be like he's very. I love Devin Booker's game.
Smooth as hell. I think
Devin Booker has a smooth game.
That rivalry with him and Luka, I love that. I love that.
And I like Devin Booker be talking shit, and I like Devin Booker. You're right. I don't think he's under 26, but he can be an exception to the younger faces of the league. I think Phoenix actually is back to our small market conversation. One of those small markets that before KD got there, or actually before they started making moves recently and changed ownership, Phoenix was one of them teams you don't really even hear about. So shout out to Devin Booker. And honestly, I like the Beal KD. I like it. I don't know how far it goes. It's the playoffs are going to be very interesting this year.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to these playoffs because I see some upsets in the West easily. Timberwolves top if they finish at 1. Excuse me. You got the Lakers that are not in the 8, and I don't think the Warriors are in the top 8 either. So you've got some interesting shit at the bottom, whereas at the top you got some newer teams, so they can easily kind of get exposed. So I'm very interested. OKC, I hope they make a run, but we'll see. Once you've been there before and done it, it's kind of easy to pull people's cards. So let me do this. There's a couple more NBA, but let's just shift to football.
Okay.
Spend a little more time on NBA than I realized. There's so much, because when you talk sports, man, it's just like and these are good combos though. This ain't just who's better than who. You know what I mean? We really get into it. So
break that shit down.
Football topics, let's go here. And I'm excited about this because the football season was great, man. Hey, let me just give a congratulations to the fucking Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I mean? Shout out to Big Pat. Let me get up a gunshot. Wow. Hold on. That's one of them ones. You know what I mean? He's different. I don't know what the league is about to do with this, but he needs to be stopped potentially, or this is going to be another Brady. It's just going to be another Brady run, and niggas ain't winning nothing. And, one or two teams might slip in, but he's 26.
Yeah, he's
26. This nigga's younger. He's 2 years younger than.
This is just beginning.
This is cool. With the dad bod. Shout out to the dad bods. You know what I mean? Like, yo, niggas is out there saying, fuck it. I'm out here throwing fucking 50, 60-yard balls to Mecole Hardman.
He's 28.
28? Okay, all right, bet. So he's our age. That's tough. That's still fucking tough. Again, I'm not going to take it away. Now, shout out to them. Shout out to Travis Kelce. Shout out to L'Jarius Sneed, Chris Jones. Oh, my God. Chris fucking Jones. I mean, shout out to that Super Bowl. That was dope.
Huge shout out to McDuffie.
Oh, McDuffie. Also, I want to say all the corners who be back, McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed were on timing. I love what the Kansas City Chiefs defense did this year. So salute to the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to Andy Reid. Shout out to all the guys. Now segueing into the topics. So let's go here. What's our assessment of the new crop of QBs, right? So we've got CJ Stroud, amazing rookie year. Amazing. That was just incredible. Salute. Jordan Love, who I actually really, really fucking appreciated this year from you as well. Brock Purdy, I know he's controversial for some. I fuck with him. But I do think he's a product of the system. He's actually an example of what I was talking about. Joe Burrow, who I think may be the only person who can take down Pat right now. And he's actually the only one who has beat Pat. And then Tua. So out of that group, and if I'm missing some, feel free to add, who do you feel, like, what's the assessment of these guys? Who's on top of that shit?
Oh, I think Stroud is gonna go crazy, bro.
So you're projecting Stroud to go above all the he's passing Burrow.
That's gonna be hard. I think next year says a lot about Burrow, because
I was about to say that.
I don't know what the future is with T. Higgins and whether he comes back to Cincinnati or not, but I think that alters hugely Cincinnati's offense, because that puts a lot of pressure on Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon.
See, I want to see. I agree. I just want to speak to your T. Higgins point. I want to see T. Higgins go to a team where he can be number one. That's all I want to see. But I like him in Cincy, and I want Burrow to be healthy. But I want to see T. Higgins as the number one guy.
Personally, I think T. Higgins is my favorite wide receiver 2 in the league. I think T. Higgins is going to ball wherever he goes. I think he's going to go crazy.
Yeah, I like him. He's really dope. And I think it's unfortunate because he has to share targets with Jamar. And he's done it. He hasn't bitched about it that I've heard. And I respect that, because we're going to get to the divas of the wide receiver groups in the NFL in a second. But I like that T. Higgins is approaching. So out of all the guys that I'm naming, you're fucking with Stroud. You're projecting him to pretty much shit on any of the.
I think so.
I'm not mad at that. Go ahead.
I think Burrow. Burrow is Burrow. He already established himself. He's the highest paid quarterback in the league. Cincinnati.
Damn, is he really? God damn. Off. Yeah.
Right off.
Pretty much 1 year for. I guess.
Yeah, and then he got injured. But
he's been injured a lot, so that's why I'm.
Yeah, I think Burrow and Stroud. I think Jordan Love is going to develop into a really fucking good quarterback. And I think people counted him out way too early.
They did.
And I thought last year when he did play,
he didn't look bad.
When he played a little bit, he looked good.
He didn't look bad. I said the same thing. I said that nigga does, and I said this to somebody else. I was having a conversation. Jordan Love is in the most ideal situation you could be in. You want to be drafted just maybe second round, third round, not too much pressure. You sit behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, and you just get to learn, go through your progressions, go through your reps, and then you boom. Now I'm putting you in third year. Yeah. All of these guys who we see crash and burn, Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold, Dwayne Haskins, the list goes on. These guys get brought in. Oh, we need you to take our organization to the top of the fucking mountain, and we need you to turn this around in a year or two. It's not realistic, and it's bad expectation. Yeah. CJ Stroud is an exception to the rule.
Hell yeah.
That's what you would love. You would love to draft your guy second overall and be like, oh damn, like we got us one. We in the playoffs, we competing, we beating good teams. That doesn't happen often. So that's why I'm like, I love Jordan Love's I just love the way he was able to progress and develop. I personally would choose that route over drafting these Caleb Williams and all of these. No disrespect to none of them. I think they're dope, but I don't love putting all that you get Trevor Lawrence, which he's doing fairly well, but you guys at the end of the day are still not where you want to be.
Yeah.
It don't matter just because you got Trevor Lawrence. It don't change the the league is competitive. You get Trevor Lawrence, that don't mean like you're about to be competing for a Super Bowl. So I think out of this group, I want to see Burrow be healthy, man. I'll say who I don't take. Tua, to me, is an absolute product of the system and product of having a Tyreek fucking Hill and a Jalen Waddle. I don't want to dumb it down, but you could put me or you out there. We got to get the ball to Tyreek Hill, and then Jalen Waddle. I don't feel like it. So for me, Tua, with what he is working with, he does not take the team over the top.
Yeah.
So I get him out of here. Purdy, I like Purdy, but I do think he's a product of the system. Same question that I have for Draymond. If I throw Purdy on Washington, I throw Purdy on fucking Tennessee. No, I'm not getting this Purdy.
You throw Purdy on that Kansas City team. And that's why I think
that's a bad offensive team, to be honest.
This Super Bowl win was actually incredible.
It really was, man. And it really was.
The defense was spectacular.
It was a great Super Bowl. And I think when I was younger, if I would have watched that, I would have been annoyed because it was so defensive first half.
Yeah.
But it was as I'm getting older, I'm appreciating defense because I know how hard it is, especially in today's NFL. Yeah. But that was another thing I should have added in that. Congratulations. Pat won with some Walmart workers at wide receiver.
Bro, besides Rashee Rice, he's
shout out to Rashee Rice.
But
everyone else.
There's no reason why Rashee Rice should be your best option on offense.
MVS. And
that's saying over Travis Kelce because Travis Kelce didn't necessarily play that well.
He played well in the championship. You're talking about during the season.
Leading up to the
correct.
Game, yeah.
Travis Kelce underperformed this year compared to prior year. A lot of drops. And yeah, he just wasn't. I mean, whether he was getting open or not, I don't know. But he was dropping. All of them niggas were dropping catches. MVS, the two white boys they got, Watson and Gray. I don't know who these guys are. I really hope they. I mean, shout out to y'all. Y'all got your Super Bowl. I don't know what team you play on next year if it's not this one though, because that was crazy. I don't know how the fuck he won with that. Cole Hardman, no disrespect, but I'm just saying. I mean, Pat is winning with niggas who aren't even playing on other teams or making other teams. I'm gonna be honest. I really hope they go and get like a DeAndre Hopkins or
they need it.
Man, that would be lovely.
Kadarius Toney.
He's in the Ben Simmons category of the NFL. You don't get associated with the pros. I'm not doing this with you niggas, bro. Some of you niggas don't get to get the title of I play in the NBA, I play in the NFL. No, you don't. You work for a team that's a part of that company, but that's not you can't even tell me I'm a wide receiver in the NFL if you're Kadarius Toney. You're a YouTuber rapper nigga. You know what I mean? Like, it's embarrassing. I'll be honest, and I hate to shit on a nigga like this because I want to see black people always do well, but you don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? You don't care. This nigga is gonna be back in Alabama spinning blocks the way he's approaching shit. You talking about? He dropped a song I think 2 days before or after the play. Just a mess. He
shouldn't get a ring. To be honest with you,
I'm serious. I agree with that shit. You can't. I don't like that everybody gets one. You know what I mean? He might be in a situation where he might have to sell those rings soon because I don't know how he's about to make his income.
And the worst part about it, he was a huge reason why they won the Super Bowl last year against the Eagles.
So you said that. Yeah. Oh no, not you. I was talking to somebody else. They said that. He had a big play or something.
Yeah, he returned a punt.
I mean, listen, I just don't think he's serious. Even if that was the case, shout out to him.
But that's how he was with the Giants. That man has all the talent in the world. He fried the Cowboys, by the way. Like
that was his one big game.
He had like 200 yards or some shit. He fried him. He has the talent. And his routes are crazy. The motherfucker can't catch. The motherfucker does not focus on the game.
He's not focused. That's what
I don't understand.
That's why I love the Heat organization, and in football, I like the Niners. One, you build through the draft. Both of those organizations build through the draft. We're not paying a bunch of free agents like that, and we draft high character individuals. See, when you're desperate as an organization, you go and draft the guy you know you shouldn't draft. Because you're like, well, we need to win, and he's got the talent. And then he ends up being this. Now you're like, oh, my God. Like, this dude, we can't even pay him to be good, like, to be serious. He don't give a fuck. He doesn't care. So, this is my last thing on Kadarius Toney. You weren't even on the docket, but now that you've been brought up, this nigga went on Instagram Live, allegedly, and said that he had some rant about the Chiefs and how they took him off he was a healthy scratch. He then blames AI. He said it was artificial intelligence that hacked his account, and that was them talking and not him. Cut this Negro expeditiously. On to the next fucking topic. So, let me finish the one we were on. I got I'm gonna go to it.
Okay.
Excuse me. What the fuck am I saying? I redact that. Tua is not it. Purdy is not it. J Love, I like a lot, but I think CJ Stroud, when you combine his skills, athleticism, system, his target, he's throwing to better people. I like Stroud a lot. Burrow, all depends on health. I think Burrow's the best out of all of I would project him to be the best out of all these guys. I need to see him healthy. If Burrow gets hurt another fucking year, though, we have a very interesting conversation about Joe Burrow. So I'm gonna leave it there. So it'll be Burrow for me, and then if not healthy, I'm gonna go Stroud as well as you. Skill position analysis. So this is a breakdown, right? QB, RB, wide receiver, tight end. I don't want to make it too long-winded, but out of the QBs all together, you know, if we had to grade them, and maybe I should have listed them out, it'd be better. You know what? Do you want me to do it without having an actual list, or we can come back to this in another segment and we can I'll list them out and then we can kind of go that way. I'll do it that way. So let's go to the running backs losing all their leverage, right? That's an interesting situation.
Yeah.
What is it? Why is a running back so unattractive now?
I think it's just the lifespan of them. It's garbage now.
It's low.
It's garbage. I think that, unfortunately, like that's why I think the bargaining agreement has to change where the running backs are going to get their paycheck. Because, I mean, you look at the quarterback position, they're getting an absurd amount of money. Receivers are getting paid. Offensive linemen are getting paid. Every position is getting paid besides the running backs. But at the same time, it's also a dying position, I think.
It is, and it's the injury. Like, so I've got Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, and Derrick Henry as points of reference for this comment. And Eckler, to me, has earned his money. I'll be honest. I feel like he has earned it. I would not understand why not paying him. One, he's been healthy, so I can't make that argument until this last season. But up until that, he's been healthy. I think Eckler was undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. So he's playing for nothing really already. I don't know if they did some sort of deal with him after, you know, he started balling the last 2-3 years. But I know he was undrafted, so he's already cheap labor. And then he's been healthy, and I feel like he's not just you're not running him 3 downs, right? And then, you know, subbing. He catch back. You can use him in the run game, right? If you want to in certain sets. But he's like multi-dimensional in that sense that you can throw it to him and he can go get you 15, 20 yards, or he can run and break loose. So I don't know if I like not paying, like strong arming Eckler kind of makes me upset.
Yeah, I think it's the salary cap situation that's to blame. Like, I think all these running backs should be getting paid, but unfortunately, the way the game has turned to, it's a 2 running back system, and that's what Eckler has done. I give him a lot of credit for, because I thought that, for example, like Tony Pollard, I thought Tony Pollard would turn into like an Eckler 2.0 this year. Tony Pollard had a disappointing year. He
did. I was actually going to say that. He did. Was that usage, or was he not effective?
He just was not effective. He wasn't that downhill runner that we needed him to be, and that's where we miss Zeke. And I was always acclaimed that we should have got Zeke back at the trade deadline.
I agree. He looked good last year.
Pollard's just not a downhill runner. He's an electric lightning type of running back.
Yeah, he'll break off for a run or two,
but he never had the opportunity this year.
Yeah.
We don't have that thunder anymore. We have Rico Duato, which is tough actually.
Yeah, he's nice.
I just think that overall the lever, it's dying. The position, it's just, you have these 2-3 running back sets now where teams are like, okay, we can
the dual committee.
You don't have to draft a running back high anymore. Like, you could find these running backs in round 4 or 5 and be like, okay, we can integrate him to the system and slowly develop him. That's cool. Use the 3-4 year rookie contract they have.
Right.
After that, start over again, get another running back.
Do you think that as a player, if you're do you think we see it get to a point where the position becomes obsolete altogether?
I think there's going to be a lot of highly touted running backs coming out of high school that change their position.
That's going to be interesting, right? Right. Okay.
I think a lot of them are going to be looking towards moving to that receiver position.
Yeah.
Or if not, they're going to become a Christian McCaffrey as to be successful in the league, you're going to have to be a scat back.
Yes.
Where you could literally you got to be able to do everything.
Yeah, you can't just do one thing.
So I don't know. Unless you're someone like Derrick Henry, that's a bulldozer. I mean,
where do you see him going? I got him on here. Where do you see him going this offseason?
As a Cowboy fan, I hope we muster up the money and get him. I think we need that thunder, like I said before. We need some type of power back.
Shit, Derrick.
But Henry. I can also see someone like the fucking Eagles getting him.
I don't like that. They got Swift. They should keep. Fuck the Eagles, by the way. Y'all are some bitch ass niggas. I'll just put that out there. That's interesting. I don't like either one of those options, so I'm hoping to hear some other shit for Henry. But I mean, I don't really know where he goes for real. Like, I mean, I could see the Cowboys. I don't really see Philly. I don't understand that. But
his services are needed with a lot of teams.
His services are needed.
The Ravens too. I think the Ravens could make a play at him, and that'd be insane also.
True. I would like that. I actually would really like that if they spent some fucking money on skill positions.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it time for some fan bases to give up on their organization? You know what I mean? Until they give you a final product.
Yes.
I've got a list of organizations that fall under this category. So it's a pretty lengthy one. I've got the Commanders, the Jets, the Raiders, the Titans. I had the Texans here with an asterisk. We see how this panned out. So the Chargers, keep in mind, the Chargers used to be San Diego Chargers with Phillip Rivers, never won anything. They had Antonio Gates, LaDainian Tomlinson, never amounted to shit. Denver, the Giants, the Bears, the Vikings. Vikings have also, let me note, have never won a Super Bowl, ever. Mm-hmm. The Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints. I put an asterisk next to the Saints. This is post Drew Brees. And then the Cardinals. Like, so I put all these teams together, right? And I'm just wondering, like, are there, out of those names that I listed, there was a lot of them. So, you know, do you feel like they're at a certain point as a fan, some of these fans of those need to just step away?
Yeah, 100% the local team here. The fucking Commanders.
We
talked about that.
Yeah, I don't acknowledge them.
That's not even coming from me being a Cowboy fan and having a bias towards NFC East, but it's abysmal.
No, it's abysmal.
What's happened. Like, it's gotten to the point that I don't even really consider them as rivals. Like, I desperately want them to be good so that rivalry can come back. Like, honestly, when you talk about them, I don't care. I'm indifferent about them. Now, when you say somebody like the Eagles, I get infuriated because I fucking hate the Eagles. I want that hatred for the Commanders again.
Yeah, but you can't even.
But now it's like I feel sorry for them.
Niggas don't even have no hatred because it's like you're not even a threat. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I like that though. Like, I like that you that's what needs to be said. You, as a player, as an owner, as a front office, you should feel a way when the opposition is speaking on you like that.
Yeah,
you know, you should take it. You should take offense to it. I'm gonna throw in. I'm gonna put them to the side since they're the home team. But I also say this area is not sports culture or sports driven or any of that. So that doesn't help. I'll say that. Like, I'm not saying that that's the reason why. But I'm saying, like, I don't like that this area doesn't have more of a sports culture where we will, even if they are good, you know, it feels like, damn, everybody's a fucking fan of the organization and everybody stops what they're doing and watches the game. We don't do that shit here. It's work and then everything else under the sun. But when it comes to sports culture, it's almost non-existent.
Yeah.
One of the teams that I'm gonna put on there is the Raiders.
Okay.
The Raiders, it's been a long fucking time. It's been you done moved cities, and that's usually the indicator that the team's going through some some shit. They moving cities, they trying to get different markets to fuck with them. The Raiders have been historically bad. The Raiders are really, really bad. Shout out to Antonio Pierce though. I fuck with him, but oof.
I do fuck with him.
The Titans I throw in there. Haven't had a real QB since Vince Young, maybe. I mean, damn. Oh well, shit, Steve McNair. I mean,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace, and that's even further back. I want to say the Bears, but I like the motion they got going on. I like what they got going on. I'm throwing Jets.
Jets, yeah.
Whoa, Aaron, I'm really sorry.
Yo, that shit. I don't know why that shit's still funny to this day. Of him just charging out with the American flag, plants the stake, first play of the game, hurt. Like
Rodgers playing, so he ran out with the American flag
because the game was on 9/11.
Oh,
so they did the whole 9/11 memorial thing, and then
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the fact that go ahead.
Or second play of the game, he gets injured. I know first play of the game was a run, I think, and the second
it was the first series.
He gets injured, and I'm just like, that is the most Jets thing that could possibly happen.
They got some bad voodoo. The Jets, it's time for y'all to give up. It's time for the Raiders fans to give up. It's time for the Commanders fans to give up. It's time for the Vikings fans to give up because I heard JJ wants to break the bank. End quote. Yeah. So I don't know what that fucking means for the organization.
And the only way they keep him is if they get Kurt back because he wants Kurt.
And Kurt just tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
So the Panthers, it's time for y'all to give up.
Wrap it up.
The Falcons. Listen, that Matt Ryan run, he never amounted to shit with that. So it's unfortunate, but you fell short. It's time for you to give up. And you guys have hella promise. That's why it's time for you to give up. I like the Raheem Morris hiring, by the way, but y'all have had so much offensive talent. It is honestly, I would be mad watching Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and we don't touch the playoffs. We just go on a regular season. That shit's annoying. That would be annoying to me personally. And I don't know why y'all don't ever have anybody on defense. So it's time for y'all to give up. And the Cardinals, it's time for you to give up. That's over. Larry Fitz and fucking who was that?
I know Kurt Warner.
That was Kurt. That's fucking crazy. Kurt went from St. Louis to that. Damn. It's time for y'all to give up. He was
balling though.
No, he was hooping. I mean, he was balling. Shout out to everybody that it's time to give up for. So the Texans, I had y'all on there as honorary mention. The Saints, I had y'all on there as honorary mention. Texans, you have hope. Hope is alive. We do like D'Amico. We do like CJ Stroud. Mm-hmm. So we see the motion. Denver, it's time for you to give up. That Peyton Manning shit, I don't want to call it a fluke, but you should be very happy for it because without that, it's definitely time for you to give up. And y'all have had a nice roster previously. I mean, for a little bit. I don't know. It's and a lot of these teams. I'll say this though, the Commanders since Kirk have not identified, I should say, a QB1. When I go down the list of these other teams, Raiders had Derek Carr. The Jets are also in this, but they did just get Aaron Rodgers. So I would say the Jets haven't had a QB1.
Nope.
Denver has had one. The Bears, I would like to say Justin Fields is the QB1. They haven't really helped them. Mm-hmm. Vikings have had one. The Falcons had Matt Ryan. So when I look at this, I'm looking Cardinals had Kyler Murray. There's only in the Titans, Jets, Commanders haven't identified QB1 since whenever their last QB1 left or they got rid of him. So everyone else doesn't really have an excuse is pretty much the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Who was Jay Cutler was the nigga in Chicago. Wow. That was a crazy error. That was a fucking crazy error. I'm about to conclude football, but we about to say something about Jay Cutler? He's a wild boy.
Hilarious. Nah, he was the definition of not giving a fuck at quarterback.
Bro,
he would chuck that bitch downfield.
He was on some Brett Favre shit, but he wasn't
without
winning.
The talent.
Yeah. It was just like
that was like me going out there just throwing it with my eyes closed. Brandon Marshall's down there somewhere.
Bro, literally. So the last thing I want to say, if for football, and then we got like 2 baseball topics.
Yeah.
What happened to the trenchmen? And what I mean by trenchmen is that's what I call the offensive linemen. Those are the niggas lining up front line, just going to war.
Man, I could tell you what happens to them. These motherfucking defensive ends are running 4.3s.
That is sick.
That makes zero sense. Why they're strong as shit and they're fast as fuck. Like it makes no sense why someone the size of Myles Garrett's fast.
And that's what I said. The first bullet is have the defensive players gotten too good?
You got Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons that are just
Myles Garrett's
the
ridiculous.
Speed of a receiver and the strength of a fucking defensive tackle. And
how do the defensive players get that good and the offensive players aren't combating it?
I think it's just genetics and just like what the fuck they're eating. I mean, at a certain point, I don't think like physics just isn't on your side to come back from a position like being down as offensive lineman and getting up. Defense is already past you.
Right.
Like you just can't get up fast enough. I mean, shout out Trent Williams.
Played
like shit in the Super Bowl, but shout out you.
I was just about to say we're not seeing we don't see any more legendary tackles anymore like a Trent Williams. We don't see it. Like We don't have those left tackles that you wear the number 70 something and be proud, you know?
I think the Lions offensive lineman's pretty good though. Panay.
I do like Panay Sewell. He is nice, and I think he's from the Bay Area. Shout out to him. He is he a left tackle or is he a guard?
He's a tackle. I just don't know if he's right or left.
I like their whole offensive line because they got another Frank Ragnow.
Yeah.
Shout out to the line. See, I didn't even put the Lions on here, by the way, because Dan Campbell and gang showed me 2 very promising fucking years. And niggas were clowning Dan Campbell when he was crying and shit. And I had a conversation with Aaron. I'm like, yo, I actually want to see my fucking head coach getting you should care about this shit, nigga. Yeah. That's why Washington be looking like that. You niggas don't give a fuck about it. You just go out.
I fuck with Dan Campbell. You could tell he gambles though. That motherfucker
Forrest,
he be calling some nutso shit.
Forrest, we going for it. I don't give a fuck. He's the nigga who's like, yo, if I got 2 10s at the blackjack table, I'm splitting them bitches.
Splitting them bitches.
Yeah, we splitting
and
them
we doubling
shits.
down.
Doubling on both. We
either going home broke or we getting this trip paid
we're up. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it, but it does hurt when it don't work. Yeah. It's just like, fuck.
And it hasn't worked, but I mean, I fuck with it. Keep it. It has to work sometime.
It has to work. It has to work. You know what I mean? But no, Dan Campbell is interesting. Oh, one more thing I actually want to address. Here's a theory that I've proposed. Should there be a conditional QB only draft? For me personally, this is my reasons behind this. One, I think QB should be separated from the bunch because when you pick a QB 1 overall out of 300, the expectation is really bad for him, and it starts to set an unrealistic measure of success. Whereas if you're picking from any of the QB or however many QB spots there'd be, I think it's a little more realistic because the QB is such a critical position that it needs to almost be separated so that, listen, you weren't one of all the picks and we need you to perform. No, you were one out of the 40 whatever, and you were in a conditional draft or in a separate draft, and this is where you were selected in the QB only draft pool instead of picking from all of those dudes, because I just think the QB position is so critical to the game that it almost shouldn't even be like in the mix. Not to disrespect the other positions, but it just is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most important position in the game of football.
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't have a competent quarterback, you're not going to win the game
because they call him bust. And quickly just because you were drafted 2, 3, 4, and it's like you weren't maybe really a 4. That's my other argument for this. You might not have been a 4th overall out of all the positions, but you might have been maybe the 4th best, 5th best quarterback. Now, we picked you 4 out of everyone because in fear of someone else getting you, and now we have to check. So I think it would help teams not overshoot on guys who really don't need to be drafted that high.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, the best player in this draft is Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's tough, man. And Chicago really needs to get him, bro.
Yeah, I hope he gets drafted first overall. But
bro, he needs to go to the Chicago. If Chicago fucks around and does any weird shit, they don't want to win.
Yeah, him and DJ Moore would be absolutely nuts. But I get what you're saying, and I do think that we are too quick to call a quarterback a bust. I mean, Bryce Young, bro, there's no reason why he should have been starting this year. And absolutely zero reason.
And that's my point. You have no line. They did try and get him targets to throw to, but you have no line. You really got a new coach. He probably wasn't meant to even really start. I look at Bryce Young as more of a developmental guy.
Yes. Like, I think either next year should have been his time to start or even like a year from then.
Exactly.
On some Jordan Love shit.
And that's my other point. I'm happy you brought that up. That's my other point for this conditional draft of QBs only. We can't just be throwing these guys out there. You know what I mean? Like that. They shouldn't be getting thrown to the wolves. And certain guys, yes, you have your CJ Strouds, you have your Herberts, you got your Burrows. Those are the exceptions. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's not the common quarterback coming out of college. So I agree, because you set up Bryce Young to fail, and then now going to the pool point you had, your confidence is shot. Now you look like you don't want to be out there, and now it just continues to soar downward. So I agree. And I just that's something I would throw out there if I was, I could run the league. So let's conclude it with a couple baseball topics that I had mentioned earlier in the show, because baseball is one of those things that I don't understand. It's kind of like cryptocurrency. Like, I don't understand it, so I can't really like get into it.
Yeah.
So explain baseball appeal to me if you could, because I don't get it.
So I think it's a type of thing that I played when I was younger. Right. It's definitely different. It's a different aspect that I think takes time to learn. It's hard to explain, but like when you go to a game, it's just the vibe is different. It's like
that is true.
It's
different.
Over last summer, I went to Yankee Stadium for the first time, and that was probably the most like one of the most surreal feelings I've ever had going to a sporting event. Just because there's so many, it's like angels in the outfield. Like it's just legendary going there, Bronx Stadium. I think it's just a vibe. Honestly, you could just go there, you could chill. You don't necessarily have to follow baseball to go. You don't have to be following. Just chill, You don't have to be following every play to enjoy yourself. So it's type of thing where you can just vibe out to, and you can, if you do like baseball, I mean, you could follow everything and you know what's going on. But
that's a good point. It is the one thing about baseball that is not one is usually in the springtime. I got allergies, so I'm allergic to pollen. So I personally like to wait until that kind of surmises, and then I'll go and pretty much, because it'd be nice typically, right? Especially absolutely. If you see it in certain regions, like if you go see the Padres or the Dodgers or whatever. Yeah. Even the East Coast games are nice, and you've got the Marlins in Florida, and I think they got the Rays. So it's nice. It is nice, especially if you're going in certain states. It's a very nice thing to do with the weather. You get, if you're into beer, you get a drink. Yeah, you can
get spiked out. I mean, odds are the game's not going to be sold out, so you can just spread out, have your legs
on
the seats in front of you. You're just chilling.
That's honestly the lovely part about baseball, but that's also the part I don't get. So I'm happy that you brought that up. The money. How the fuck can the seats be empty regularly? And keep in mind, baseball got like 60 games or something?
They got a lot of fucking games, right? They almost got 162, I think, or something like that. Yeah, so
they got almost 200 games, and more than likely, as we just said, you can go to a game randomly out of the week, and the seats will be empty. I don't understand how they fund this operation. I don't get it.
I try to figure that out too. I Google that shit. All I know is there's a lot of old money in baseball. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking old money. That shit stretches out.
That it has to, because
it stretches out.
Ain't no motherfucking way that this type of operation. If you go to a retail store, and you don't see nobody going in it, at a certain point you're gonna be like, that's gonna shut down,
bruh. I don't. But it's just it's definitely a power sport. So there's no fairness in it to a degree. So you got somebody like the Mets last year. They spent so much fucking money. I don't even remember the number, but they spent a tragically amount of money.
Because there's no cap, right?
There's no cap. And they bought everybody on their team. And they didn't do anything. They didn't do well this year. Yeah. But they spent so much money. And there's other teams like the Milwaukee Brewers. They can't do that. They can't even think about doing
right. They just gotta build through They got so like a Texas Rangers too. Like, are they a team that's like,
they have money, but the Texas Rangers, they also had a lot of development.
Got you. Team, so happy you brought that up. So that's the last thing that we're going to discuss. Explain that minor league to major league development and transition, because I really actually love that approach of, we got the minors, and they be in there for, a little while, and then they start popping off in the major leagues. Yeah. Kind of like the G League. I think the G League is the closest thing to it, which I really think also just going back a little bit to my football point, my QB. I almost want to say there should be a developmental league for QBs, or some sort of system where they can go there and then they start popping off in the league, instead of going, like you were saying, with Bryce Young, straight to it. But yeah, kind of explain, like, how is that minor league to major league transition?
So baseball is definitely a team sport. There's so many different factors that go into there to win the game. It's not like basketball, like where one person can literally dictate a game. Right. Same thing with football to a degree. Yep. I mean, you kind of need your important positions, quarterback, your defense, whatever. Baseball, it's a almost more individual than people think. So you got the hitter, you got the fielding and all that, but it is also years to develop because a lot of these players are coming from high school. They get drafted from high school, then they go off to college.
Right.
Play a couple years, and they either re-go into the draft or they go straight to their team that they got drafted to.
Right.
And then from there, it takes a few years to develop because you're going from practically high school to best in the world. And I think the transition going from college to the MLB is way different than going from college to the NFL or college to the NBA because the skill gap is so much larger. So
how's that skill gap? So what is contributed to that skill gap being so?
I think the pitching.
Right, okay, so it's just
the pitching it's ridiculous in the MLB. Like you're even at the game, you're watching these pitches go. You're like,
them
what
shits
the
are
you don't even see the fucking ball.
Yeah, no, them shits are fast, bro. Standing, honestly, that was something I will always say. Like, I do salute, even though I know a lot of people look at baseball as kind of like a lazy sport. Them niggas going up there with the ball coming right to you, 90 miles, almost 100 miles per hour. Like, bro,
I dare anybody to go and hit a slider. Hit a slider by an MLB pitcher.
I'm not fucking with that shit at all. I mean, I've been to batting cages. I don't even hit them shits all the time. Let alone a motherfucker throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Fuck no. Absolutely not.
Bro,
that's crazy.
It's insane.
How do you throw a fucking ball that fat? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit's just insane. So yeah, I that makes sense. The skill gap not quite, and I kind of wondered that because it is kind of similar in football, whereas why you see guys in college for a little longer, and you know they can't go straight from high school or college, you know, and it probably it may be also attributed to like the fact that like basketball is a little more individualistic.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if you beat your matchup, you may be able to get by, right? Whereas in baseball, it's a team effort. So everyone is almost on equal skill, you know, level. And if you're the one person who isn't, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, just like you got Ohtani animal. Trout animal, but the Angels overall were not a good team. And
true.
Ohtani left. He's with the Dodgers. They're gonna go crazy.
That's right. He is with Mookie Betts. Shout out to Mookie, man. I like seeing the black niggas still getting their shit off in baseball because I don't really see too many. Like it's a lot of foreigner. Well, it's always been
Dominicans.
Yeah,
they be going crazy.
Which is so interesting that the market. I always find that very interesting. Like every sport got their own market, and I always find it interesting the recruiting process of that. Like you go to like why is the Dominican so, you know, prevalent in baseball, and then you've got, you know, certain Europeans in basketball, and then I would love to see a day in the life of a recruiter for some of those positions just to see like what does that look like, because it's like who tells you, oh yo, we got this kid Luka. I mean, because Jokic wasn't even like highly.
He wasn't.
He just wants this shit more. But Luka was, so it's like, damn, we got this kid Luka, and it's like, what makes you buy into him? You know, because you haven't seen him play against this type of competition.
Yeah, I think it's just the way the NBA was going. They saw that the NBA's play style was almost going in a European spot where it's just like fast pace. So
a lot of people said that when Ginobili was around, they were like, yo, like, you know, because he was doing the Euro step and stuff like that, and they were like, oh wow, like now everyone's starting to do the Euro step.
The world's catching up, man. That skill gap between you, it's not a landslide no more.
No,
got to fight for them gold medals.
Shit, them Olympics, they might not get that shit though. But man, this was a great fucking convo, great sports segment. You know what I mean? Doing segmented conversations this year with the brand. Shout out to Derek for coming through. You know what I mean? And you know, this has been a great episode, and so we're gonna keep the sports agendas going. You know what I mean? These segments won't stop, but this was fire though. I fucked with this
for sure. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man. Shout out to y'all, man. This is Subtle Impact.